Hello everyone. Here we are. Sunday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Portugal time, and it is the second Sunday of the month. So we are here for our Just Breathe Live. Hello, Eda, Katarina. Hello, everyone. So, I've got these beautiful flowers here. A friend of mine picked out in the countryside, so I decided to bring them in for us, for them to color our journey today. Hello, Mateja. So, to begin, hi, Krisha. Thank you, Katarina. Thank you very much. So today we're going on quite an interesting, challenging journey. The themes that I'd like to share today are really everyone's challenge. Basically, everyone like you that is on this path of realization, of ascension, of expansion, of transcendence. Hi, Gabi and Barbara. Thank you. Beautiful flowers, right? Yeah, I was so happy to receive them. And so I'll sort of, I suppose, just jump right into the theme. And I'd just like to remind you that next weekend, 14th, 15th, and 16th, I will be hosting together with Joanna, my fairy godmother of healing touch. And I'll be hosting with her 3 options online that anyone can do from their home or wherever they want to be, just as long as the person is alone, no one else to speak to. And it really taking time. So there's the Pure Silence of Business, or the My Own Silence Retreat, or the InPassion Breath Weekend program. You can look that up later on. I'll put that in the text description. Now, so the month of May. The month of May is the month of fertility, abundance, beauty, and in this case, it is also a great month to transcend more limitations. And two of the greatest limitations we all face on our journey of transcendence. And when I say transcendence, I mean transcending the illusion of separation, transcending the illusion of duality. Well, duality will keep on existing. The only thing is then we'll perceive it from a balanced point within us. So transcendence of our limited perspective of duality, so to speak, would be much more coherent. Well, we all face 2 things. And one of them is anger. Anger towards what we have perceived to be God, which means ultimately anger towards ourselves. This anger can be hidden. You might have already accessed it and transmuted it. But one way or another, all of us have to face this sooner or later. The anger towards divinity. And it's very natural that this anger exists, because one thing is knowing that when we come into this reality here, into this separation, before coming in, we know who we are. And then we willingly forget. But while we are here in that forgetfulness, we have many different perceptions of divinity, and they are all usually outside. And they don't make sense. Because if there is supposedly, and irrespective of what religion it is, a divine force, a God, somewhere out there that is in charge of things, that is supposed to be taking care of things, why are things the way we are, the things the way they are? Why are we suffering? And this sinks in to our core values. And so even people who then become very religious in some of their lifetimes live this inner conflict of trying to understand a divine force, God, whatever it is that that religion calls this, that is someone out there that is supposed to be responsible and be taking care of things, but things are the way they are. And so this conflict, it grows and it grows and it grows until at some point it becomes very, very painful. And then we remember, wait a minute, but there has to be more to this experience than just this. And then we start diving within, and I'll let you know. The point is that anger of the human with the divine, it can persist beyond our knowingness and our willingness to surrender to the God within, to the knowingness that we are God also. Thank you, Serena. They are beautiful country flowers. So, I would like to invite each one to just become aware if there is any rest of anger with God within you. So just as you take a deep breath, just staying here, just being present to your breath. I would like to invite you to become aware at the deepest possible level, deep in your heart. Are you completely at peace with divinity? Just feel it. And if you are, fantastic. Just allow yourself to be in that. And if you aren't, fantastic also that you are perceiving it. So if you feel any kind of unrest, discomfort, anxiety, whatever, around this theme of whether you are still a little bit angry, a lot, whatever, at divinity, just allow yourself now to dive into that. To embrace it completely. To really, really go into whatever you are feeling. Notice that this might have played out in your life as some sort of conflict with authority, with responsibility as well, with feeling safe, with feeling worthy, with feeling at peace, with being human. And now the invitation is just dive into whatever you are feeling. Not to try and fix it or analyze it. No. Just to embrace yourself within it. To bring the radiance of your expanded wisdom to that space as you inhale and exhale through your nose. Allowing any dissociative walls there might be between your humanity and your divinity to very naturally dissolve in the warmth of your breath, in the radiance of your presence, in the magic of your wisdom. Without having to justify anything. Letting go of any guilt or shame associated to being human. And even towards the divine. And it doesn't really matter why or how this anger came to be. All that matters in this moment is your compassion, your acceptance. And that you realize that you're not two separate things. You are all in one. You are all in one. You are neither human, neither divine. You are all in one. And this that you are has never been. It's something new. Something that you have never experienced in this way. Something that has not been possible before for the many. Something that you yourself have paved the way for by coming to earth so many times, by believing, by knowing. You have paved the way to experience being all in one. And it took time, many lifetimes. But it doesn't really matter. Because you are timeless, eternal. So I invite you today and from now on to make complete peace with being human, with being divine. For even if you try right now, you cannot pretend to be separate anymore. You can try, and it will hurt more than ever. And then quickly you'll stop trying. Because it's been a habit for so long. And because you've had to be stubborn to come here now, to be here now, you've had to be stubborn. Oh, yes. Be thankful for that. Well, but because you've had to be stubborn, it can also take a while for this habit, this game of being angry at God or at the human, of having something to fight for or against. It will take a while, maybe, for that game to cease. If, of course, you choose to. And it's okay. Because you already are who you have always wished to be. You already are that. You are already all in one. Coming to peace with that is a blissful gift. Which brings me to the second thing, the second theme, which is that the greatest fear we face is really and only the fear of ourselves. And you know this. I know you know. Of course you know. But I'm gonna invite you now to face it. Now that we are in a safe space here together today, I'm gonna make a really bold invitation. Really, really bold. Which is to face your greatest fear. To look at it. To be with it. Because, you know, to jump into the abyss, the rift between the physical and the non-physical, between the body and the higher self. There is no bridge there. No, there is no cable. You have to open your wings and fly. To make the connection. So just for the purpose of experimentation, and because it's okay now, you're safe, I would like to invite you to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Deeply through your nose, allowing your belly to expand and recede as you breathe. Just for the sake of experimentation. And knowing it's okay now. Invite your greatest fear to come forward. Just be with it. It's not gonna kill you. Honestly, it isn't. Just be here in your breath. Because you can. Just stay. You don't need to do anything, fight against anything. And you don't need to believe in that fear. You can hear it, but you don't need to listen to it. You can see it, but you don't need to be afraid of it. Because it's okay now. You are all in one. You are all in one. Allow yourself to be so open, so present. That you know who you are. Not the identity, the personality, just the knowingness, the notion of the more. And now if you've made any contracts in any lifetime with any beings, human or otherwise, to pretend for as long as you could that you weren't who you are, cut them up, release them, let it go if you want. If you feel it's enough. It's time to open your wings and show your magnificence. It's just time. Simple as that. Just keep on breathing deep down into your belly. Just allowing yourself to feel the power of staying. of not budging 1 millimeter as you face whatever is there for you to face. Not going anywhere. No, not this time. Not going anywhere. Keep on breathing deep down into your belly. Inhaling and exhaling deeply and softly through your nose. And whenever you feel ready, gradually just open your eyes. And the reason I chose to do this today with you is because we agreed upon it. We agreed that we would do this for each other. And with each other. We agreed to make it simple. As soon as it was possible. If you'd like to share how you're feeling, you can do so in the chat. I hope all of you are feeling very present and aware that you are all in one. That you are all in one. The themes for today are all somewhat challenging. And so we have the greatest fear. Thank you for sharing, Serena. Thank you. So, facing your greatest fear, facing your greatest anger. And I was asked to share about old sexual wounds, which is also eventually not the easiest theme to face, but it is. And really and honestly, all of us that have been on earth for a long time carry many old sexual wounds. Very simply because it is the sexual energy that brings us into the physical body to be born. And then it is that same sexual energy that is used either as a manipulative device or as creative abundance. And of course, because we have chosen to live all possible forgetfulness and darkness and all of that, we have experimented a lot with sexual energy. But just like money itself, which is part of sexual energy, is not intrinsically bad, so sexual energy is not intrinsically bad or good. It is what allows us to create. Thank you for sharing, Ada, Isabel, Matea. So, really, the sexual wounds we carry, and they can be related to sex itself, and there are many wounds in that context. But they can also be related to all kinds of relationships, even if it's not physically sexual, and to our creative abundance, to our relationship with materialization. It's all within the same context. So, really, this is all part of the distortion of perception. The distortion of the small human self that then has to find all sorts of ways to deal with this reality without GPS, meaning without realizing that one always has had within that guiding system. And sometimes we listen to it, sometimes we forget. I mean, throughout our lifetimes. Sometimes we've had quite enlightened lifetimes too. But when regarding sexuality, now I'm talking about really intercourse, sexuality, there has been enormous distortion. And especially even for those born into female body, the distortions have been even greater because those have been the way of drowning the feminine that has faster access to divine wisdom, and the feminine within men and women. I'm not speaking about gender here, but I am as well. So, in order to transcend these sexual wounds, these wounds related to sexuality, to intercourse, it becomes much easier if we first acknowledge our greatest fear, our greatest anger, like we've done just now, because then part of the distortion is already transmuted. And so sexuality has carried with itself those very key elements of guilt and shame in order to keep us in bondage. Bondage to illusion, bondage to separation, bondage to the victim, abuser, savior cycles. But though those sexual wounds have been very painful, amongst the most painful we have experienced in our lifetimes on earth. And that's why they are many times so hard to bring up and to acknowledge and to remember. Many of them are very hidden, not perceived. Though they have been that, also there resides one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Because there is a reason why the wound around sexuality is so big. Because when we liberate it, if there were no wound there, we would never have forgotten. But we chose to. Same way as we're choosing to remember, to be all in one. So the path I suggest is very, very simple. Same way as we did here with facing your greatest fear. Release the attachment to the pain. The attachment to the idea that somehow whatever sexual wounds you carry, they are so painful that you simply cannot accept them, look at them. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible to face from the compassion of your essence. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But the reason why those sexual wounds remain so sticky is that once you dissolve them, you realize how powerful you are. And then you experience freedom. Because then you are no longer addicted to sex. You're no longer needing to use it to manipulate or be manipulated. You don't even need it. That's when you can enjoy. That's when you discover that there's nothing wrong or bad or dirty about your sexuality. That it is really one of the purest gifts, one of the purest things you have. That's why it is through sexual reunion that we are born, that life is brought forth. It is the purest, most sacred thing. Your sexual organs, whether you're a woman or a man, are portals to the divine, removing all barriers that separate you from the knowingness of who you are. And this has been known for millennia. That's why it has been used as well to invert everything. So, in order to transcend any old sexual wounds you might be carrying, and probably the easiest thing will be to dive into any of those you have from this lifetime, because then you will bring up all of the others very naturally, is to do so from the point of compassion within your breath, staying in that compassion, and stop attaching any kind of drama to those wounds. You are now your own caretaker. How would you treat someone that has been abused? Remember this. You are your own caretaker. It is not a time to be attached to anything that has been done to you or that you have done to others. It is the time to acknowledge, to embrace, to accept, and to let go. Gently, naturally, just let go. That's forgiveness. And it's for you. It's your benefit. This is one of those things where you can only benefit yourself. But in doing so, you set all of those who have played these games with you free from you. Free from the burden of your blame, of your shame, of your guilt, as you set yourself free. There is no other area in our lives that carries more blame, shame, and guilt than sexuality. And the reason is because that area in your body is where you breathe into. It's where your center is. It's your powerhouse of truth. And it's time to uncover it. It's time. No more analysis. Hanging on to the notion that someone did this to me and so that's why I have to be like this and so on. Let it go. No need to justify. Cry it all out. Cry it out. Mourn whatever you have to mourn. Let it go. And in the same way, just to end on the same note, any kind of addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction, they're all basically the same thing. Food addiction. They're all used to produce some sort of comfort. or escape. But the addiction is only mental. Yes, it can seem to be physical, and it can produce physical effects. But it's through your willingness to become your own caretaker that any addiction can be transcended. And then there are other kinds of addictions that are not even substance related. Even the addiction and attachment to suffering, to smallness. And when I say smallness, I don't mean like the size of these flowers. They are so small and yet so beautiful. That's not smallness. You know what I mean. Addictions are just games we play. Games of separation. Just to keep ourselves here. Coming back over and over again. Until the time comes. And it's been so long that it's like, oh my God, can it really be the time? Yes, it is right now. It's now. There's nothing else to wait for. No more need to play games of separation, of manipulation, of forgetfulness. It's like when we say we would like to have something, like we really, really want something. But then if that thing shows up in front of us very simply, we look at that and we don't even know if we can accept it because, I mean, how could it be so simple? Yeah, this is it. This is it. And it's this simple. Always remember your core is incorruptible and has always been whole and complete. And you are all one. You are all one. All in one. Just like those sales where they say, buy two for the price of one. Oh yeah, we are that jackpot. Pretty simple, isn't it? I would like you to feel how much I love you and thank you and honor you for being here at this time on earth so that we can celebrate this jackpot together. This time that we knew would come one day, and now it's come, and some are just looking, really? Yeah, it's come. It's just here. You don't need to hurt anymore. Thank you, Isabel. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to say. So I've shared what I intended to share here today. And I'd like to let you know that on Tuesday is new moon, 11th of May, and I will be offering a free compassionate breath session at 1 p.m. Tuesday, 11th of May. If you'd like to be there, just ask for the Zoom link and I'll send it to you. It is a gift for you, for us, for me too. And for those of you who'd like to do the sessions, the compassionate breath in Portuguese, I am going to initiate a class at 8:08 in the morning, Portugal time. If you're interested in that, just let me know. And on Monday, the 17th, at 10 a.m. in the morning, my book, Soul Songs, Portuguese version, is going to be launched together with the professional school in Tomar, who are the ones who did the design of this book that I love so much. So this is going to be publicly launched together with the school who redesigned it on Monday the 17th. Yes, Serena, in addition to Monday. So I have the compassionate breath weekly sessions Mondays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Portugal time, 1 to 1:30. But in addition, on Tuesday, 11th May, New Moon Day, I am offering anyone who'd like to attend at 1 p.m. as well a compassionate breath session. And on Thursday at 8:08 in the morning for Portuguese. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you, Margarita. Yes, sometimes it's hard to cry, right? Some people have trouble crying, and lately I've been crying so much. Jesus, it's been terrible. No, wonderful, but I mean, it's like all of a sudden there I am crying again, and crying from the. It's so beautiful that it's time. I mean, wow. You see, there I am tearing up all over again. It's just such an amazing time to be here on earth. Yes, I'll send you the link on the Compassionate Breath group. Crying is a big blessing, yes. And anyone else who is not in the Compassionate Breath group and would like to be in the session on Tuesday, just send me a message on Facebook or an email to info@inpassioncoaching@gmail.com, or even a message on my website, inpassioncoaching.com, and I'll send you the link. And for Thursday, for the Portuguese people, at 8:08 in the morning as well, because that one will be only in Portuguese. And as I said at the beginning, next weekend, 14th, 15th, and 16th, for anyone wanting to go through the experience of deep and profound silence with the guidance of compassionate breath, just let me know. Me and Joanna will be hosting that together with self-massage, movement, breath, silence, and a lot of inner guidance from yourself. It is a beautiful experience. I thank you very, very much for being here today. And really, I'd like to let you know that when I began the session, I had no idea. Well, I knew the themes, but I had no idea we were actually going to dive directly into the experience of those themes. So I'd like to let you know that this happened thanks to you, because it was thanks to the people who are present here now that that was made possible, because of you, because of your expanded consciousness, because you were available to provide this, not only for us, for yourself, for all present, but for whoever then later on will connect to this Just Breathe Live session today. So it's been a blessing that you have gifted to everyone with your presence here today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Katarina. Thank you very, very much. Yes, accepting that life is simple. And just before ending, one thing about happiness. I'd like to leave a note about happiness. There's no such thing as happiness. Happiness is volatile. And that's why it's always sort of either here and not here and here and not there. What there is contentment, peace, the blissful knowingness of who you truly are. So if you'd like to also let go of the pursuit for happiness, that would be a great gift. It doesn't exist in the sense we have dreamt. But contentment, love, pure and simple, blissful joy, which is still and silent. It's not euphoric. That exists. And exists irrespective of your day. You might be on a good day, you might be on a bad day, like a day where you're not sort of, all happy and so, but that contentment, that fulfillment, it's there anyway, all the time. Once you have allowed it, once you are in it, it never ever goes away. So, on this note, I will leave you and wish you a beautiful, fulfilling, serene Sunday. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you. So.